Hi everyone, my name is Sydney Brown, financial coach and budgeting expert, here to help you spend money with confidence. This channel is for single black women who feel overwhelmed when they think about their financial future, confused when they think about managing their money, and shame when they think about their financial situation. I'm here to help you create and stick to a budget so that you can stop living paycheck to paycheck and start spending money with confidence. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss another video. So today, I know I'm late. Just know that I try. So today I wanted to review the Netflix series, How to Get Rich. It was a Netflix series based off the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit. I really don't know how to say his last name. Is it Sethi? Is it Sethi? Is Sethi? Don't know how to say his name. It's based off of his book. During the show basically follows 8 couples and individuals who are trying to improve their money situation, their financial situation. He basically financial coaches them through from where they're at to where they want to be. Overall, I enjoyed the show. I felt like there was something we can all gain from watching the show, so I would recommend the show. And I just wanted to talk quickly about 8 lessons that I did learn, or I felt like were highlighted within the show. So before we get into today's video, I wanted to share that you should subscribe to my free newsletter. It has 52 weekly challenges to help you improve your financial situation this year. Okay, so to give some structure to this video, I'm gonna give the lesson that I learned, and then share a little bit about the couple, and then give the takeaway that I hope that you gain from the situation. Okay, the first lesson I feel like wasn't mentioned, but I felt like was clear to me. You let me know what you think in the comments. But the first couple, I feel like the main lesson that I took away was identifying signs of financial abuse. So Matt and Imani was the first couple that they chose to highlight on the show. I don't know why personally, because I felt like they were not the best image of financial couple, like being in a couple as a financial, sharing finances as a couple. I don't think they did the best job of that. And maybe that's why they started with them, I don't know. But for me, I felt like this was a textbook example of financial abuse. And you can let me know in the comments, maybe that's a controversial opinion. I don't think it is. I think that most financial people would say that this is financial abuse. So the show begins, Matt is a stay-at-home dad, while Imani is she is kind of like the breadwinner in the relationship. She's the one that controls all the money. She doesn't share anything with her husband about how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. If he spends any money, she goes down his neck about spending any money when he is not the person that brings the money in. Imani is portrayed as this high income earning individual, while her husband has skills. He was formerly an engineer before being a stay-at-home dad. However, it seems like it was not his choice to be a stay-at-home dad. It seems like it just kind of happened. They didn't really have any conversations about it. It just kind of happened, in order to help them take care of the kids. And he's definitely not appreciated. She kind of like downgrades him. Like I don't feel like she really uplifts his work in the home. She definitely belittles it and makes it seem like he needs to get a job, and that's what she wants for him to get a job. And I really think that the takeaway from this relationship is that this is what financial abuse looks like, and being able to identify signs of financial abuse if they do happen in your own life, being able to see those signs. Financial abuse is controlling the victim's ability to acquire, use, or maintain their financial resources. And I believe she's doing all 3. She is controlling his ability to acquire by, saying that he needs to take care of the kids. He's the sole responsibility for taking care of the kids. She is controlling how he uses the money by shaming him when he does use any money that, should be their money. And she is controlling how he maintains his money by having no say-so about how she spends her money. She just kind of spends it however she wants. But, let's say he did want to save some money. he doesn't really have any say-so over that. So I believe this is financial abuse. And you can let me know in the comments. So the next couple, I feel like the main takeaway that I got from them was how poor credit can affect the interest that you pay over the long term. So I think it's very clear, or for most people, when they think about poor credit, and I feel like I even just did a video about credit, so definitely go watch that. But I feel like even in my last video where I am talking about credit and how important it is to build your credit, I don't necessarily highlight, which I feel like was highlighted in this show, was not only does having poor credit prevent you from actually being able to acquire the asset. For example, if you apply for a house, you might not qualify if you have poor credit. But I feel like this show shows, I feel like it displays really well that even if you are able to qualify, the interest that you will pay over the long term will cost you more when you are getting credit cards, when you are, applying for a house, when you are trying to do any of these things that you are trying to do to advance your life. When your insurance premiums might be higher, things like that will be affected by having poor credit. So not only is it important to have good credit just because you want to be able to qualify for the house, for the job, for the, whatever it is, but you want to have good credit so that when you do qualify, you are paying the lowest possible interest rate so that over the long term, it's not costing you more. And I feel like this is displayed really well through the couple, Donnell and Monique. They are a small family, a small black couple with a couple kids. They want to get a house so that their kids can have like a stable place for over the course of their life where they're going to live. And I thought it was very admirable. So they were trying to improve their financial situation for their kids. So having poor credit can affect you in a few ways. Mortgage loans, the interest rates are going to be a lot higher. If you do qualify, the premium credit cards that you will qualify won't have the same perks as the ones where you have impeccable credit. You don't have to have perfect credit, but you have to have good credit. Good credit is defined as having at least a 720 or above. It can also affect the car loan that you're trying to qualify for. You might just have higher interest rates over the course of the loan. So try to improve your credit. There's a whole video about having improving your credit. I just released it, so go ahead and watch that. Just go back. Okay, so I feel like the next lesson that was learned in this show was the difference between having a financial advisor that charges a percentage fee and having an advisor that charges an hourly rate. Natalie and Nicole were not a couple. They were a mother and daughter pair. The mother, she seems to actually be parented by the daughter because the daughter is actually wise beyond her years. She's the one who signed up for the show. She's the one who's like identifying all of these signs in her mother. She's the one that's encouraging her mother to do the thing, apply for the thing, whatever she needs to do. I actually felt like the daughter was parenting the mother, but once again, you can let me know in the comments. Maybe these opinions are controversial. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so once again, the mother is the one who is, being financially coached by Ramit. She comes off in the show as kind of like a trust fund baby. She believes that money will just come to her. She's very entitled to the money that she has. She didn't earn any of the money. She's acquiring the money through child support, through trust funds, through, she's somebody that kind of believes that the rules don't apply to her. She can acquire or achieve money in all these other ways other than having a job. So the wealth that she's acquired, she has a financial advisor taking care of that for her. However, she's paying a percentage fee for that instead of an hourly rate. And the difference between a percentage fee and an hourly rate is a percentage fee is typically the most expensive way that you can pay for financial advice. Typically, when somebody is charging you a percentage fee, the percentage fee goes down as the wealth that they manage goes up. So while the 1% seems like it's very small amount, based on the amount of money she is bringing into the firm, that is a lot of money. So she could be spending, for the same financial advice, she could be spending $300 a month, you know, something like that. She is choosing to spend millions of dollars a year, and she is fine with that. So I feel like the takeaway from this situation is that it has nothing to do with whether or not financial advisors are good or bad. I actually believe that if you need financial help, ask for it. I think the takeaway is don't pay a percentage fee to get the financial advice that you need. Find a fiduciary who will charge you an hourly rate. If you need financial advice, go to a fee-only fiduciary financial advisor. A fiduciary financial advisor is someone who is legally and ethically binded into giving you financial advice that's in your own best interest. Oftentimes, the interest of the financial advisor can conflict with your own interest because they're trying to sell you things from, you know, annuities to, you know, insurance that you don't need. They're trying to sell you all these different products that may conflict with your best interest. Their best interest is to get a commission off of whatever product or item that they're selling you. So just be wary. Try to find a fee-only fiduciary financial advisor if you do need financial advice. So the next lesson learned is the total cost of homeownership. So this lesson is learned through Sophina. Sophina is like this little gymnast young girl. She comes off as very like young and bubbly and, you know, fun to be around. She chose to buy a house, a small condo, but she didn't really take into account the total cost of homeownership when she bought the condo. So she didn't realize that you're gonna have to, you know, maintain the home. She didn't realize that you're gonna have HOA fees that are in addition to the mortgage. She didn't realize that that there are all these other factors that come into play other than just the mortgage payment when you buy a house. And she just wanted to buy a house because she believed that was like her ticket into financial freedom. So she didn't realize that there are a lot of other factors that come into play, including the HOA fee, including maintenance, including buying furniture for the house. And all of these are kind of coming at her at the same time. So she, you know, since she bought the house, she didn't have any hot water while being in the house. So because she couldn't afford to get somebody to fix her water heater, whatever. I don't know if it was through the association or it was her own situation, whatever. She couldn't afford to get the water fixed, and so she was just showering in cold showers, you know, during the show. So the takeaway from Sophina is that you need to consider the total cost of homeownership before you jump into a mortgage. So is the total cost with everything, maintenance, HOA, everything included, is that more than 28% of your gross income? And 2, have you saved a 20% down payment for the home? And that doesn't mean that you have to put 20% down. That just means that you have built the habit of saving, paying down debt, taking control of your finances before jumping into homeownership. So the next lesson learned is if you can't manage the money that you have, then having more of it won't help. And I think this is so true. I think that the lesson learned, so the next individual was Frank. He is such a good time. I love Frank. I love watching him on The Circle. He's the Circle winner from season 4. The Circle season 4 winner. And his prize was that he gained $100,000 that was paid in 2 $50,000 lump sums. So he was just getting money left and right, you know? But he also has a job. He's a social worker by day, and he's a content creator by night. He's, you know, side hustling, trying to earn as much as he can. And he is such a lovable character, but I feel as if the lesson learned from him is that if you don't manage the money, if you don't know how to manage the money that you have, then earning more won't help. So he had a certain amount of money before being on the show. after he won, he got his first lump sum of $50,000, and that $50,000 just went poof on designer clothes, on, you know, brunch, on everything that he mentions in the show. He describes himself as wanting, you know, if he's having a bad day, he wants to go to the mall and ball, and, you know, he's taking trips. He is YOLO, living his best life, you know, today. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, and that clearly is not what he wanted. Otherwise, he would have been happy about the way that he spent his money, and he clearly was not. So if he would like to spend that money in a different way, he's gonna have to learn to manage the money that he has before the next $50,000 comes, and that also goes poof. So once again, I feel like the takeaway is to make sure that you have a budget. Make sure you are, you know, planning to use the money in an appropriate way, and in a way that makes you feel confident about the way that you're spending the money. If not, if you feel guilty about how you spent the money, or you are feeling some other residual feelings about it, then maybe you need to change the way that you're spending, you know, get a financial coach, find a budget, you know. There's tons of videos on my channel already that help you manage your money, so watch one of those. So the next takeaway that I got from the next individual was how to land your dream job. And I think that this lesson is portrayed very well through Drew. He is a drag queen. He works at a restaurant. He is someone who does drag shows and gets paid in cash. And at the end, he is engaged to his fiance, whose name was Mikey. But it's very clear from his cutaways that he is very dependent on Mikey. Like, he would not be able to live his current lifestyle without Mikey being involved, and so he's not able to support himself, and he feels very I think weighed down by this feeling of not being able to support himself, his not being able to be independent. And I honestly just want to say that I think every other couple outside of Matt and Amani at the beginning of the show were very good examples of how couples should, you know, split their money or share their money, whatever. Just because Matt and Amani, like I said, they had that secrecy, that controlling aspect, that manipulative, emotional manipulation, I feel like piece. Whereas I don't feel like Mikey, at least how it was portrayed on the show, ever made Drew feel bad about the amount of money he was bringing in. And the couples moving forward, even including Donnell and Monique, they never made the other individual feel bad about what they were contributing to the relationship, whether they were or weren't contributing, because this one, there's also a dynamic where Drew is not contributing as much as Mikey, but their relationship seems a lot healthier in terms of Drew never makes, Mikey never makes Drew feel bad about how he is contributing to the relationship. Moving on. I feel like the takeaway from this relationship, or from this individual, was how to land your dream job. So Drew makes one call to, you know, and that's not to say that it's so easy to find your dream job, but I think sometimes we limit or think down or don't really consider how beneficial it can be to make a few phone calls, or to, I feel like the first rule of landing your dream job is to tell everyone. You have to tell every single person in your network that you're looking for a job. You tell every conversation started with, I'm looking for a new job, you know, talk a little bit about what skills you have, and talk a little bit about what you're looking for in your next opportunity. I think that is a really good piece. 80% of jobs include your network, and I think that is so key. Make sure you tell every single person you know. But I think also what they did mention on the show was doing informational interviews. You are in control of your network. It's not only just who you know personally, it's who you want to know. So if you want to know people who are, you know, in different career paths, LinkedIn is a great way to expand your network. You can just message somebody on LinkedIn about things that you saw on their profile that might be interesting to you as a career, and if they would be willing to talk to you about that, and just having, you know, a couple minute, try not to be, you know, long and drawn out, maybe a 30 to 45 minute conversation with them about how they were able to get where they went, instead of sitting here saying, well, I don't know anybody, you know, nobody that I know is wanting to do what I'm trying to do, woe is me. Don't just sit around and being like, I don't know anybody doing what I want to do. If you know somebody, or you want to know somebody who is doing something different than what you're currently doing, reach out to them and find ways, you know, surround yourself with opportunities where they are. Is there a conference in your local area that has people doing what you're doing what you want to do? Is there a, you know, job fair where you are that has recruiters who might know some of the qualifications that it takes to get where you want to go? Just talk to people, learn how to talk to people and get where you're trying to go, and don't let your current situation dictate your future outcomes. The next lesson learned was the difference between gambling and investing. Millie and Christian are the next couple. They are the people that come off as very money savvy. I feel like they're the people that come off in your life as somebody you would go to for financial advice because they appear to be doing very well. And it's not like they aren't, they are doing very well. Their goal is to retire Christian's mother, but they are making a few financial decisions that are costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars, including just partaking in all these like get rich quick schemes. A lot of people think that doing things like Robinhood or DraftKings or all these different things are like investing in order to like make more money, and I think that it can come off as very sexy and attractive. Everybody wants to know how to make more money quickly, you know, getting involved in a get rich quick scheme, how they can turn their money, flip their money from $20 to $100 tomorrow. Like, that's a very sexy way of making money, right? But oftentimes it's really the sexy way of losing a lot of money. They talk about on the show how they went from all this, they invested in a Zoom stock basically right before the pandemic, and then it just blew up overnight and they turned their money from like nothing into everything. Wow, they made so much money. And then they did it again, and then they lost basically all the money they had in that account, and it just keeps going down by the day. And I feel like they talk about on the show, which I thought was highlighted very well, sunk cost fallacy. It's just like anything. If you invest a lot of time, you invest a lot of money, you invest a lot of effort into something, it's very hard to move on from it, to pivot and to move in a different direction when you start losing money. I think it's kind of like when you're dating that guy who you've been dating for years and years, but you start to see all these red flags about him, whatever, and you just decide to stay in the relationship because you've been with him for so long. To start over with someone new would be too sad, or too like admitting defeat basically, and a lot of people have trouble moving on from something they spend a lot of time, money, or effort into. And I think that I love Steve Harvey's quote on this. I used to watch his show all the time, and I love how he kind of puts it in terms of, well, you talk about that you've had 10 bad years with this guy. Do you want to have 10 more bad years? Because that's really what it's going to be. So whatever, how many years, however much money do you have, you know, if you've invested $50,000 into something, do you want to invest $50,000 more if you've already lost the last $50,000? It's really not about where you are, what happened in the past. It's about what you want your future to look like. And sometimes if you want your future to look different than your past, you have to make a different decision. So all that to say that gambling looks very sexy. It looks like you're going to flip that money from $5 into $500 tomorrow. But investing is very boring. You put that money into an account, you just forget about it, you leave it alone, and then, you know, 20 years from now, you look back over your life, and contributions is really what made you money over the long term. So gambling versus investing. It might look sexy today, but over time, you know, it's a losing gamble. It's a losing bet versus investing over the long term is what is going to make you a millionaire. Okay, and the last couple was, I feel like the lesson learned from them was money is not only financial, money is cultural, money is political, money is more than just money. Reggie and Sarah are a new couple who are a young couple who is trying to get married over the next few years. They make Reggie in the beginning of their situation look like he's kind of like the dream crusher, the dream killer, like, you spent how much on that? But as they are planning for their wedding, they are trying to have this big-ish wedding, but it's really not only just for them, it's kind of the party of the century for their families as well. And you know, from the outside looking in, you might just say, well, just have less people at your wedding. You know, if you don't want to have that type of wedding, if you don't want to have a big wedding, just have less people attend your wedding and it will be a lot cheaper. But really, it's not about them spending tons of money on these people for the wedding for themselves. It's cultural. Having large weddings is more of like a family reunion for their families. It's not about the money that they're actually spending on the wedding. It's more about the fact that having all these people at the wedding is for their family. It's a cultural moment for their family. So they end up going to their parents and asking for money to be able to have the type of wedding that they want. And both parents contribute like $5,000 to $10,000 in order for them to have the wedding of their dreams. And it's really not just a wedding for them, it's a wedding for their families as well. So money is cultural, money is political. It's not just about the financial, you know, balance sheet. It's really about more than just that. So use your money in a way that shows what you really value. A lot of people like to say, if you want to see what somebody values, look at their bank account balance sheet and what they spend their money on. Because if you value image, if you value money, if you value politics, if you value family, it's all going to show up on your balance sheet. So use your money in a way that reflects your values. Alright, so there you have it. That is what I thought about all the couples on the show. If you have some opinions about the couples or the show, let me know in the comments. What did you think about Matt and Amani? Were they financial abuse, or am I just being too critical? You know, what do you think about the relationship dynamics between all the other couples? Let me know what you thought about the show in the comments, because I would love to know. If you want me to do more reviews like this, please like this video so that I know that the video style is something that you like to see. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel just so that you're notified every time that I release a video. Please subscribe to the channel. And also, if you want those actionable tips or challenges in order to help you improve your financial situation, please subscribe to my newsletter. The link is in the description. And that's it for today. Bye!